Hello everyone and welcome to another Wild Edibles episode where today it looks like I got lucky. The mile a minute I talked about in a previous invasive species episode bore fruit and it ripened. Now I did go over identification in a previous video, so I'll link that somewhere on screen and in the description, but just to recap, it's a little mangled right now because it's fall, but this plant has very obvious and almost too perfect triangle-shaped leaves and little thorns along the stem. And also berries, I suppose you could call them, that don't really look like anything else. The berries, when ripe, almost look alien. They're so impossibly iridescent blue. Now, since a lot of these are ripe at the same time, I can eat several and get a really good idea of what these taste like. I had eaten one or two before this, but only individually, and let me tell you, there's not a lot of fruit on that seed, and I couldn't get a real good idea of what these tasted like. But now I have the opportunity to eat multiple and try to get a better idea. In addition, since this is an invasive species, it's best to get rid of as many as possible. Well, here they are, and let me tell you, the weirdness of these does not stop when you take them off the plant. They legitimately both feel and sound like styrofoam balls. Man, this plant is weird. Alright, without further ado, let's give these things a try. Yeah, texture of styrofoam right there. I do not like those. That does not taste good. They're sweet, but nasty. Ugh. No, that plant's gonna burn. I was planning on getting rid of it since it was invasive anyway, but that's gotta go. Oh. Alright, that's easily the worst wild edible ever. The seed comprises 95% of the fruit. It has the texture of styrofoam, and while it does have a little bit of sweetness, the flavor is just awful. But we're not done yet, though. I haven't been able to find any information on the edibility of these seeds, but just by looking at them, I can tell that they're probably not the type you would want to eat. But since these are an invasive species, we really should dispose of them. Now, discarding these seeds by just throwing them on the ground is just going to create more of these plants, and I certainly don't want that, so we know what we gotta do. Gotta crush these up until they're just a paste, so there's nothing to germinate. That ought to do. As for the rest of this plant, there's not much left here, and several of the fruits and seeds have already escaped to the point where I don't think it's all that important that I crush the rest of the plant up. As it is, this plant is associated with another invasive, autumn olive, so I'm pretty much planning on throwing all of this into the next fire I have. Next year, what I'm going to have to do is be extra vigilant in this area, and in others, to find this plant when it's young so that it can't produce seeds, because with how easily these fall off of the stem, you know, a brisk wind will make it so that one of them will survive. Well, that's all I have for today. This is easily the worst wild edible I've ever had, and to make matters worse, it's invasive. Anyway, hope you guys learned something and enjoyed. See ya.